Hey, it's Alpha Reader, and today I'm going to be painting a peacock with you. I haven't painted this picture before, it's the first time, so it's making that up as I go along. So I've drawn a head of the peacock onto the page, and now all I'm going to do first is the background. Now the background is going to be a lot of watery, watercolor style painting, but I'm using acrylics. The colours I've got are here: blue, light blue, dark blue, some metallic blue. I've picked a yellow orange, a green, a purple, and I've got some black. What I'm going to do first is I want to wet my page. I want to wet the page so the paint doesn't grab to the page. Now I don't want to paint. I don't want to paint my, what do you call him, peacock. I don't want to paint the peacock. I don't want the water to run into the peacock. I want the water to run only where I've painted water. So I'm just painting around the peacock. And only on the right side here I'm painting up. I'm going to wet that page all the way out. So now what I do next is I want to get a black edge in. So I'm going to, and I probably wouldn't do the black first, but it's probably going to be easier for you to see what I'm talking about. So I'll probably mix 3/4 water to 1/4 black. I'm actually going to add some more water to that. And along the edge of that peacock, I'm just going to, not all the way down his neck, and you'll see I'm touching it with the black, painting with the black, and you'll see that water's running, that paint's running off. If I want it to spread some more, I just dip some more water onto it, and you can help it follow that water out. Right, so now I've got a darker edge. What I'm going to do next is I want to get colours of the peacock. I'm going to start with a lighter colour first. And same thing, I'm going to get a lot of water and a little bit of, now I've got a pot, I've got another pot here that's, I put water in all those little bays in my palette. It's got fresh water in it. Because I don't really want to contaminate the different colours too much, otherwise it all just goes bland. So now I'm getting the orange, mixing a bit of paint into it. And I'm just blobbing it on. Not too much, you don't want too much. And I'm also going to go down the bottom here. Now you see here there's ripples in my paper. If I want to get the water that's sitting in those puddles, I just get a bit of paper towel and just dab it if you've got too much water in one spot. So now I just want to get the paint off that brush, and I'm using that really big round brush here to blob water on. Just spreading those ones out a bit, and you can even just flick a couple of splatters on. Right, so we've got some puddling going on. This is a watercolor paper, so the puddling, the paper's rippling up a lot more than what watercolor paper would. Well, that's okay, I expected that. So now I'm going to go with green. Now I do want to try and leave some white spots. I don't want to make it just a big blob of colour. I'm trying to control it a little bit just to, so I do have some white still in it. You see that paint just spreading. Let's go for some smaller blobs. So smaller blobs, I'm going to use a smaller brush. Now, eventually the peacock's head's going to be blue. So I'm going to run the blue. It's going to blend in. So I'm going to do a lot of splattering of blue in this area. Just want to get some more on this side. Oh, what have we got next? Blue. I'll go with the light blue. Get some of that water out. Now, if I get some on the peacock, it won't matter because I'm going to be painting over that anyways. But less is probably better. Now, I'm trying to avoid getting paint on the outer edge. I want to keep that white as much as I can. Now we'll try the dark blue. That puddle again. So that blue there will run up the peacock's neck. And now we'll just get some purple. Can use a smaller brush. Purple for a deeper colour. I don't want too much purple in there. It's more of a violet, so it's not too bad. It's not too dark. I'm trying to splatter that on spots where it looks a little bland, a little flat, just to break it up. Just get some more black in that edge. Get a nice strong edge there, dark background. And I'm just going to let the water, add some more water to it to let it run out. Just give it a little bit of a hand with the brush. Taking out some of that puddling. Now, I probably could have left some more white spots, but what happens, happens. That's art. And I'm going to let that dry now. So I'll let that dry out, and I'm going to oh, so I didn't show you on camera because it'd be too noisy, but I used a hot air gun or a powerful hair dryer to dry it out a bit so I can continue working. And it's splattered the paints out a little bit further, which looks pretty cool. So now I'm going to start working on the peacock. And I'm going to work from the bottom section of the peacock, from his neck down to start with. So first I'm just putting in smaller areas, use a smaller brush. I'm just putting in a base coat. To start with. And this paint's going to get a lot thicker on top of it, but I just need a coat just to take away that white shine that's going to come through any paint. And then I'm going to water it down so it fades away into the background paint we did. Oh, but I might also do the background colouring. I've got a bluey green around the eyes. I'm just going to put a background up the top as well. I nearly always start with a background colour, a base coat. Sometimes you build the picture up just using shades and highlights based on the back coat. Put the metallic blue. I'm not a fan of this dark blue. It's a metallic blue. It's the first time I've used it. Not a fan. I forgot to do the splatters for his peak. Right, so that's filled in a lot of the areas that I need to work on. So now, I'm just going to that smaller brush. So, what is it? It's a size 6 round, pointed round. And I'm going to start putting the detailing in the neck. I'm going to use flicking. And I'm going to build it up as I go. I'm just starting off with an area. I want to get some green into it, just sort of give it a different colour, other than just blues. I'm going to get some white actually. So I want to make it pop. I want to make it pop out on the right hand side. Whoops. I'll be carried away. So I've gone over the edge a little bit, just like the fur's coming over the edge on that side. A bit of yellow in there too, just a pinch. And then I'm going to use the back of my brush and scratch it. So looks like lots of thin bits of hair. Remembering that the hair falls down off the neck. Always take into consideration gravity. Now we're going to work our other colours in. A little bit of white in that. In spots, I'm not over blending it in here. I'm just dabbing on the paint that I'm going to scratch in. That's it, the blue scratching in with the green and breaking up that white at the same time. Now I'm going to get that wet brush, make that bottom fade away again. Now, we're going to get that darker greens coming into it, or darker blues. Let's move this paint over where it's more comfortable. Then I'm going to get some black under his beak. I've splattered bits of paint there where I think where it's going to scrape well and scrape it down. Once again, getting that hair effect for whatever you want to call it. So there's his neck. I'm going to do around his face. Now when I scratch around the face, his hairs on his face are going to be nowhere near long as his neck. So they're only going to be shorter scratches. So I'm just putting in the paint. I'm putting in a blue. I'm going to put a dark blue also. Otherwise you're not going to see any scratches on it. It's just going to be blue on blue. Scratch. Don't overly scratch because you'll lose. It'll all blend in together. You don't want that to happen. Now where the cheek it comes over the neck, I need to lighten it up so it's contrasting the light against the black. I'll do the other side. Dark blue. Then some white on the bottom edge. I might even put a pinch of yellow in just to give it that bit more colour, and then I'll scratch. First I'm going to scratch that white up a bit back into the paint and then come down. Dip some more light blue in, get some, just to break up some of those plain spots. And I missed this spot down here for some reason. And the white, same thing. Dark blue down the light blue, then the white. And you've really got to have that white colour at the bottom to contrast from the black neck behind it, the shaded neck. Wherever it looks a bit flat, just put some white hairs into it. Because the white will make it pop. Do the top of his head. The top of his head is more. Actually, before I do that, we're going to do the. We're going to put water where I want the blobs to the top of his. Just wet the spots where I just want the paint to go. At the top there. I might go with an orange to start with. I'm just dabbing that orange on and it's flowing out into those wet spots. Some light blue, just not as much as the orange. It's like I'm doing little balls that are flowing out, little cotton balls. I might have made this a little bit too big, but so what. I'm going to put some green in the centre of those little balls. Oh, I went strong. Just a couple of little spots of, a couple of little spots of purple. Just want a bit of a darker colour in there if I can. There, that's it. That's good. So now back to that top part of his head. Painting it in dark blue. Now this is, top of his head's looking more like a dinosaur where it's a protected scales that are on top. I'm going to get a small liner brush, run some black lines where those scales are going. Just running horizontal lines, curving over, not totally horizontal, but they're curving over. Some black lines like snake skin. Not too much, just. And I'm not going to worry about detail too much. And to make it pop, we're going to get some light blue and mix it with white, more white than light blue. So it's a sky blue. And a slightly bigger brush, so size 4 or 6. I'm just dabbing some on at the moment. And I'm going to whiten the brush. Just give it a little blend. Not breaking up those black lines or anything. Just blending the white, the sky blue in a little bit to the blue. You could go a lot more detail on this, but I'm not looking for the detail. I'm just running the back of my brush down just to emphasise those lines a little bit more. So there's the top. I might do that little part on top of his nose. It's the same thing. It's more black and white. I'm just going to black and I'm putting these parts in black. I'm just going to highlight it with some lighting. finer brush. I'm just going to show you where the light's hitting the tip of that. It's like the nose is running down. The light's hitting the tip of his nose. This just lightly blending lightly with the tip of my brush into the black. And then I'm going to put some black lines across it. A line down the middle. Using the tip of a brush, just running some black lines off the sides. Now, around his eyes, let's do that next. Well, actually, let's go back up to his frills that are coming off the top. I think I might just use a black to start with. And I want a black that's got a little bit of water in it to make it run nice and easy. I'm going to do black lines up in one stroke. And at the top, I'm going to get a clean brush. Just make it fade away a little bit into the design. So those lines slightly disappear. There we go. Now around his eyes. We go on the bluey green for this. So I'm putting the second coat on. Get a smaller brush. Now I'm going to put some white into it to make it pop. I'm not overly blending. Put a bit of white on the bottom of the lights hitting that top edge. Now, like everything I do a base colour, I do a light version, then a dark version, so I'm going to use a darker blue just to show some shading underneath it. It gives it that rounding effect. I can probably also add a little bit of black, which I will. It makes that pop a bit more. Now you can't let the black go too far because it controls everything black. So you work the paint back into the black. Inside edges of those top rails, just got that black shading. Slightly blended in. that's that done. Eyeball. What colour eyes? We're going to give them yellow eyes. Yellow, maybe a yellow with a pinch of purple. How does that look? Yellow, pinch of purple, and white. It's a yellowy brown colour. Now I'm only doing that outer part of the eyeball. And then I'm going to use white because there's a lot of, because it's watery, there's a lot of reflection in the eye. So a lot of light, you'll be seeing a lot of the light from the sun hitting that eyeball. Then I go to the back of my brush, just scrape that white down, or that brown up, either way, whatever it needs. There. So now I've got that eyeball effect. Now it's black. This is the hard part, getting that circle. So making sure my paint flows easy on my brush. So I'm drawing like a pencil. I'm not going to put the whites of the eyes in yet. I'm just going to do the whole black because it's going to get too complex trying to do all at once. Then it's a challenge of getting that other eyeball exactly the same size. They'll never be perfect. Most people will never notice. Here's the blacks. Now you look at the black, those eyes look pretty flat. Just like that. You'll see once I let it dry out a bit and I put some whites in the eyes, you'll see how they pop. I'm going to leave those eyes at the moment, let them dry off a bit. Then we'll do the lids. So I'm going to use white as a base colour on my lids because a lot of it is going to be white and it'll make it pop. And the bottom one. Now it just looks like the white of the page, but once I start putting some shading into that, you'll see the difference. I might use a light blue, stick a line in there, line on the top one, black line under the lid. And I want to put a little bit of a black shade on the outside so you can see it different, pops out from the background. same on the other side. I don't know what I've done here. I want to put a nice thick white so it covers that background. I need to just fix up this brown bit up here. Looks like I missed something. Put some white in it to make it pop. You see how the white edges make it pop out from the black background? So I can go down here. I can do the same down here with the hairs. I can put just some white flicks just to make it pop a bit more. Right, back to this. A white edge on that eye. Now those blue lines again. The blue line on the bottom. Now I'm going to do that flickering of the eyes. I'm going to run a white line. You'll make sure you get a clean brush for this. A thin white line around the bottom of the black on both sides. Now I'm just putting a flicker of light. It's up to you which side. I'm doing it on the right side. Just a little flicker of white in the eyes. And it brings those eyes to life. Right, I think we've just got a beak now to go. And the beak's going to be black and white. I could add some brown into it, but I haven't used brown in any of the picture. I could probably put a pinch of yellow into it, but I don't want to. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, this. So let's start with the top part of his nose. Let's do his nose first. Putting a base coat of white in. Going to put some shading on either side, and clean your brush after I put a bit of black there and blend it, keeping the brow of his nose white. Wipe the black off if you've got too much, put some white on your brush and continue blending. Every time you get too much more black back on your brush, wipe it off. Go back to white until you're happy where you're at. Put some white strokes across. These black nostrils, we'll start putting them in. Then we'll blend the edges so the shadow as it comes out. Now we're going to go a smaller brush. If you find you're struggling with your work, getting that detail, just go a smaller brush. Running white lines around the black nostrils. Now those 9 nostrils look nothing like each other. I'm going to pop this one up a bit higher. This one a bit wider. Now, I'm going to work my way up. We're talking about his top peak. Bring my brush. I'm going to do his top peak, working my way up from the bottom now. The way to choose to do it is, if you're looking like you're struggling to make sense of what's happening in the picture or where to go next, move away from it, come back to it, work your way back to that spot. So I'm having trouble working out what to go here, so I'm now going down to the different part of the beak and working on that. Same as the top part, putting black on either side, blending it in. I'm going to have to come back and do some white highlighting on this. I'm just trying to get those shades in first. I'm just putting some shade at the back there. I'm going to work down through the white on either side of that top beak. Lightly blending with the tip of my brush. Biggest challenge with this part is just don't add too much black to your paint. Now I'm going to try and do some bit of highlighting if it's dry enough. Just getting some white in the spots that I want to pop. Now I'm just trying to get that top part that I painted around the nostrils and the bottom part to just to blend together a little bit. That's fine, I like that. I'm going to do a white bottom lip. Let's do it all white first. And then between the top and the bottom lip, there's a definite line that runs down. Get that black off. Get some white on my brush. Sort of like a human hip, that lip. It's got those folds that come over. I want to tidy up this bottom part of the beak. It looks messy. I'm just putting a black outline and fade it off into the background. Give it a bit of water to help it blend into the back. I'm just going to tidy up a little bit here, just to make it blend into that background a little bit with some watery paint. Trying to get that to fade away a little bit.
If you found this video entertaining, helpful or inspiring, we'd love for you to consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that notification bell. Subscribing will ensure that you never miss out on any of our future content that we create especially for you.